They gave me my theme music.
Mr. Fingaz. Collin from the DMV. Go Dogs. Yeah. Let's go.
Hey gang, what's going on? And we are live. We are live. We are live. Thank you for joining us for another edition of This Week in UGA Football. I am
Went the wrong way. Nothing. I went the wrong way. I forgot about StreamYard.
Oh Lord have mercy, Jesus. We doing this already, bro.
Come on, man. Oh yeah.
In case you missed it, all of our intros tend to be a comedy of errors. Just go back and watch the ones from last week. Seriously, I was a mess last week.
Yes,
Anyhow, I am Mr. Fingaz coming to you live from the 405 where the wind is gently lollygagging down the plain. It was beautiful outside today. It never got above 81 degrees. I, for one, am here for it. That means fall is on the way, and then eventually it will get cold, and then we will get 2 snowflakes, and people will forget how to drive. But that's a different story, because that guy right there, sitting over here, he is the brother from another mother, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place, in your face. I am very happy to be here. Collin P. from the DMV. What's going on, baby?
I am very happy to be here, man. I'm good, man. Had a good weekend with the folks. Folks came up this weekend from Folkestone, Georgia, a little small town, and had the B-man with me, and we kind of did a little happy birthday. Went out to dinner for him because they weren't able to make it for his original birthday back in on the 13th. But yeah, we didn't have a show last week. But yeah, my boy is 15. Can you believe that? Can you believe he is 15 years old?
Yo, that's
last Monday.
That deserves some applause right there. Little birthday for our guy, the B-man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. So, yeah, we did all that, the family thing there the weekend, and celebrated a hard-fought win. How about yourself, dog?
Let's see. I got to go to bed early because I didn't have a show on Monday. I got to go to bed early because I didn't have a show on Tuesday. Then Wednesday, I did the roundtable on Tuesday. I did the roundtable on Wednesday. There was no show on Thursday, so I got to go to bed early again. And then Friday, I went out for karaoke. And then Saturday, I watched the Dogs win. And yesterday, I watched the Falcons lose. Yeah. I'm not going to lose my temper over it this time. I promise. I've been taking my medicine, and the doctor says I'm doing much better now.
You know what's crazy, man? When you get, I mean, like, how much you look forward to going to bed early when you get a certain age. I mean, it's just like I'm going to bed at 8 o'clock.
You don't have to listen. You don't have to use fancy terms like a certain age. You can just say when you get old.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you consider old? I'm just saying, like, I mean, I don't know about you, but it hit me right around 40-ish.
Nah, when I was 40. Well, remember when I was 40, I was still DJing. I was on the Fox scene. I was just getting started good around 8 o'clock. But right now, if we weren't on this show, I would be sitting in my chair beside the bed, probably snoozing.
Oh, no doubt. Me and you both, brother. But I'm just saying, how times have changed. I mean, Sunday through Saturday, and rinse and repeat. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, before we go another further, shouts out to our guy, the one, the only, Nathan Snell is in the MFN building right there. That is our guy, Nathan Snell from Nathan Snell, our Maryland guy. Loves his Maryland Terrapins. Loves all things WNBA. Is becoming quite the WNBA commentator. Got press passes and everything. He's on all the time, every time.
Yeah, he's doing it good, man.
He's a good dude. He's a real good dude. So we appreciate you stopping through, man. We appreciate you stopping through. Oh, wait. That's the one I wanted to give you right there. Appreciate you, man. I think for most of us at any age, at any time, we're crashing a bit. Nah, man. It's not in my 20s. The last thing I was thinking about doing at 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the shoot. In my 20s? No, I was married in my 20s. I was already married in my 20s. When I got in my 30s, on a Friday, about 10 o'clock, we wouldn't leave to go to karaoke until 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You don't go out. You don't go out until probably 10, 11 o'clock at night. That's what we do.
I mean, leaving to go to karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
Like now I'm at the age where I want to get there early. If I decide to stay late, cool. If I want to ball out, if I want to bounce out at 10:30, cool. Now I've never bounced out at 10:30 because I'm an absolute karaoke junkie, but I still have that option. Now I got a good 2 hours in me. I've already calculated how long it's gonna take to get home, where I gotta stop. Okay, I gotta have take a gas that'll get me home, but maybe I want to hit Whataburger on the way home and hit 7-Eleven and get myself a big gulp or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm saying it's like, I can't, back in the day we'd go to like Arlington, go to Mr. Dave's, all these places, these clubs and bars and stuff where you're like shoulder to shoulder. I said, yeah, you can't pay me to go to places like that anymore. These young whippersnappers, you Thundercats, getting shoulder to shoulder on me, you'll have to go get away. I like my space.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, Mr. Snell, you know what? There was some talk about Maryland. I'm looking. Where is it? Okay, there's the conference. There's the overall. There was some talk about Maryland potentially going bowling this year. Maryland sitting on 4-3 right now with a home record of 3-2 and a away record of 1-1. Had some unfortunate mishaps the last few games, but there's still talk of Maryland going bowling, and they have looked impressive in their wins this season. So best of luck to your squad this year, my friend. That's Nathan Snell right there stopping through, y'all. Appreciate you, sir. You see him on Big Dead Sports Talk. He's on all the time. I can't do it in my regular voice. I'm contractually obligated with Big Nate Sports Talk to do it in the announcer voice every time. It's on all the time, every time. So I had to do that like that. Anyway, moving into what is our first segment. There we go. There's the bell. That's where we needed the bell. Well, we had some visitors come between the hedges, and it got a little sketchy, but we got out with a win. The Dogs take down Ole Miss. Collin, how are we feeling about this win?
Hey, it's you know what? I kind of feel, I don't know, kind of perplexed on this one because we still haven't seen 4 like complete quarters of football yet. It's either,
we have. Hold on, I'm gonna stop you there. We have just not all in the same game. Like if you take, here in a quarter from there and put them all together. Yeah, we have.
I agree with you totally, but I'm saying like see the second half, like we still tend to give up, give these teams a little bit of a head start, and we start slowly, and it seems like we kind of, against Kentucky, we kind of started off a little bit faster, but this one kind of had remnants of what we normally do, but at the same point, the resilience on this team, man, it's it might be the most resilient team. Even compared to the 21-22 squad. I'm not saying the defense, but I'm saying like coming back, the grit and the grime, being down, and clawing back, and you can just kind of tell there's no give up in this in this squad.
Yeah. Absolutely not. That's one thing I do have to give them credit for. Nathan, if we had to talk about keys to the game, I'm going to give you 2 words, 4 syllables, roughly 13. Nope, more than that. Anyway, I'm not even going to count the letters. Yeah, I am, because now my brain is stuck and it won't let me not do it. I'm going to give you 2 words, 4 syllables, roughly 14 letters. Gunnar Stockton. Gunnar Stockton was an absolute machine. What was his stat line again, Collin? I've got it, but I've got other stuff pulled up.
It's give me one second. My computer being a little bit slow, but he had I think it was 289 yards. Excuse me, 4 touchdowns in the air, and he rushed for 59 yards on I believe it's 10 carries, I believe, and 59 yards, and he scored a touchdown there. So he had 5 total touchdowns, no picks. 289 yards passing, 59 yards rushing. So I mean, and quarterback rating 96 point, I think it was 96.6.
Yeah.
But he was virtually flawless. I mean, no turnovers, and that's that touchdown he ran for. When he pulled the ball down, I mean, it was a rush. I mean, it was a blitz. And he outran the blitz. He outran the the defender, the person that was blitzing, and that way he was just jugging and jiving, and he scored. He wasn't going to be denied. He outran him.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
but the thing with me, man, is like you don't see any fanfare. You don't see any anything flashy about it. He goes to work and gets on the team, gets on the field and goes and he plays and
he does what he does. He does what he does. He's not overly demonstrative when he scores. He's not one of those guys who's talking about. And don't get me wrong, I realize that some of the smack talking in the show, but there's a little bit of the part of the game. But he's not one of those guys. He's like, I'm here to work. I'm here to do what I need to do. Let's accomplish this mission. And that is a huge part, I think, of why his team has rallied around. I mean, why the team has rallied around him. You see how they got hyped when they put him in during, was it the Texas game when he went in the Texas game?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got hyped when he went in the Texas game. You know what I mean?
Kirby, he kept it under wraps. But at his press conference after the game, he said that Gunner, he was a question mark for playing, and he'd been beaten up. They beat him up. You can watch the games that he's played in. The first 5 games or whatever, they were just. They're punishing him, and he's taking it.
Oh, 100%. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. No doubt about that whatsoever.
But the quote was, he's Stetson Bennett without the defense, or without the luxury of having the defense. But take that every man.
And speaking of beaten and banged up, we did lose Colby Young. He broke his. What did you say? He broke his foot.
Broke his. I don't know if it was a tibia or fibia. Not his foot. It was his leg. He broke his leg.
Jeez. Well, get well soon, Colby Young. I didn't catch the injury during the game. But we did see him hobbling off after making a catch and run. Best wishes to Colby Young. He's definitely a good weapon, an incredible part of this team and this squad. So best wishes and rapid healing to him.
And that goes back to what we were talking about, Anthony. With him being gone, and we were talking about, like you were saying that you didn't know we had tight ends, right? And then I agree. They haven't been shown. They haven't been showcased. So, with him being gone, we got London Humphreys. We got, it's time to get lucky and those guys involved, the tight ends involved, which I don't understand why they haven't been involved. Maybe they've been waiting.
It's crazy that we know exactly who Oscar Delp is, but he rarely touches the ball. It's almost like, remember Big O?
Yeah.
Big O was a monster. He might touch the ball once every other game because the ball was always going to Ladd and Brock. But still, this guy is just he's a good player. He's a very good player, very dependable. He had a couple of drops last season, but the entire receiving corps had a bad case of the drops these last year. If we could get either Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones to show up with a neuralizer and wipe that from the memories of every Dog fan, that would be greatly appreciated. Even though we did make it to the conference championship, win the conference championship, and beat the Longhorns, not once, but twice.
Yep. But when you saw Big O on the field, when the plays that he made were just spectacular. Hurling folks and the big old boy just but he did
jumping on people like Big John Stud. Well, let's get into some of the ugly here. The ugliest part of this game was there was zero defense on either side. This was an offensive fireworks show. There were no fourth downs. It's very telling that Ole Miss had no fourth downs in the first half. None.
Right.
Tell me where you see that anywhere. I don't care if it's the 05 the 05 Patriots versus the 85 Bears. you just don't see that. You
Yeah,
don't
I think
see a
the
team.
first punt. I think the first punt was like late in the third quarter, maybe the fourth quarter.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. It was just somewhere in the third quarter because at that point, both defenses were kind of starting to catch on, and they were done feeling each other out. Now it was time to put gloves on and start playing. But still, it absolute insanity. If you look at the, let me go in here and see what about that is not it. Where are we? Okay, we're over here. There's our box score. If you look at the box score, Ole Miss had at least one touchdown a quarter for the first three quarters. One in the first quarter, two in the second quarter, two in the third quarter. So ostensibly, they didn't punt until probably late in the third quarter. I'd have to go back and watch, look at the play-by-play to see it, but they probably didn't punt until late in the third quarter. And that was when they realized that at that point, it was when we started to see the Georgia defense start to wake up and take effect. But Georgia had zero answer for the run, zero answer for the pass, and vice versa on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, and our secondary remains to be a big question mark. They gave up some big plays. The line did okay. They didn't do too much on the run. They didn't gain. Let me see how many rushing yards they had. Yeah, they didn't have. Chambliss only had 42 yards on 9 carries, and Lacey had 31 yards on 12. So we stopped the run, but as far as the secondary, it's Stribling had 3 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown, and Wallace had 39 yards. So there's something's got to give in the secondary because if we can get exploded. We've already been exposed, but
oh yeah, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it, though. As a matter of fact, if you look at when the defense woke up, remember I told you the secondary is very young. The front seven still has some experience. That was the guys that you start waking up and making plays with like that block, a couple of block passes. You start to see linebackers come up on the short routes and break up plays, break up pass plays. You started to see. Did we get a sack? I still don't think we got a sack. No sacks.
No sacks. No sacks.
No sacks. Meanwhile, let's see. Ole Miss got one on us, but we got none on them. Like we can't get pressure on the quarterback, and that is also a very, very, very key part of the defense that we really need to start working on because we can't afford. We don't have any wiggle room here. As a one-loss team, and that one loss is a conference loss, we don't have any wiggle room while we're stuck.
Did you notice? I've kind of noticed a little bit. Are we blitzing? I don't think we're blitzing nearly as much as we have in the past. I don't think the blitz packages are.
We're not.
So do you think it's because of the vulnerability of the secondary? Probably could play for it.
I 100% believe it's because of the vulnerability of the secondary. How many plays? The first play, one of the first plays, 5 plays from scrimmage in the game against Tennessee, Aguilar goes deep, kid gets burnt, so he grabs a jersey and gets a DPI.
Yeah, that's another thing.
He was clearly burnt.
Yeah, and when it comes to the pass interference, how many?
I'm talking about popcorn in the microwave too long burnt. I'm talking about bacon in the air fryer too long burnt. I'm talking about you turned away to talk to somebody at the cookout too long and wasn't paying attention to the grill burnt. That's what I'm talking about.
Then you burnt the bacon. I hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But CJ Allen had 8 solo tackles, 10 total tackles. We were tackling and wrapping up, but like I said, we give it up big yards. Yeah.
But after giving up big yards is my point.
Yep, I agree with you totally. But
and that's not something that we can afford to do because if you're looking at, we'll get into the rest of the schedule in a minute, but let's just take a peek here. Where are we? We're just gonna open that up over there and see. If you take a look at the rest of the schedule, we've got Florida coming up in 2 weeks. We're on a bye week this week, so we always have a bye the week before the first weekend in November, just like we had the third Saturday in October last week, Alabama, Tennessee. You got the first weekend in November for Georgia, Florida. After that, we got a still viable 4-3 Mississippi State, although they have not won in conference play yet. I don't, I was worried about them at the beginning of the season. They haven't won a conference play yet, but they're still a decent team. Against just this Georgia squad with the right motivation, there could be trouble in River City. You've also got a Texas team that's got a lot to prove, even though they struggled against. They really struggled. I want to try and pump them up a little bit, but they struggled against the Kentucky dog. I mean, it took overtime for them to beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then we've got Charlotte after that. But the one that I got marked down right now is that one on the end of the calendar. That one that comes up Thanksgiving weekend. That one that we play against that team that for the last 2 decades we've been like, that's a win. That as recently as a couple of years ago, you and I were doing schedule predictions and going, that's a win. We're playing them. We're playing them and Vandy. That's 2 guaranteed wins. That is not the case anymore with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is ranked in the top 10, and they said we come to knock some heads. It took us to 3 overtimes last year? 2 or 3?
Yeah, I thought more than that. That was what I don't remember.
It was a lot.
I know. I had a corner. I mean, I had
a couple of times. You feel me? Couple of times. So there is no wiggle room because we've got 3 conference games left on the schedule. There's no wiggle room in terms of the conference, the run for the race for the, as Sean like to say, the race for the conference title. Although you and I discussed before the show started that, we might not want to look. You might not want to look too much into that. But yeah, we definitely we got no wiggle room, man. We got no wiggle room.
The only way we can get through that is the only way. Sorry to cut you off, but the only way we can that wiggle room or kind of alleviate some of that wiggle room is if the offense steps up like it did. I mean, if the other team scores, we're gonna have to score for score.
Got to be touchdown for touchdown, like some of these content creators say, sub for sub, which I think is a bunch of garbage. Is a garbage way to build your.
Well, let's talk about the offense just a little bit. I mean, what do you think about?
Let's be real about something for a second. There's a point I was going to make here.
Oh, sorry.
I say we don't really have any breathers left in our schedule until we get to Charlotte. I don't know what Charlotte's record is, but I don't trust it. It's 2025, and some very strange things have happened. If you remember, if you remember, it wasn't but a couple of weeks ago. The team we're getting ready to play beat Texas. And even with Texas playing the way they were playing going into that game, nobody expected that.
Right. But I mean, I think this team is. I would hope and believe that this team is young and they're still got that fire lit under them that they don't look past a team like Charlotte or even a Mississippi State or whatever. But and keep that drive in them because I mean this team. I mean they don't quit.
No, they don't. Absolutely not.
But the thing is that we're within striking distance now. If we, that's the thing that put us out of the game with Alabama. You know what I mean? Well, several things put us out of the game with Alabama. But,
you mean like the 4 straight touchdowns they scored before we even decided to wake up?
Maybe we should have kicked that field goal too in overtime. Yeah.
But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. We need to kind of press forward here. We're running a little behind, but here's the kicker. At the end of the day, it's a lot of don't say it. You just cannot give up, and that's one thing Kirby's very good at instilling the team. But like I said, we don't have any wiggle room, as is right now with us beating Ole Miss. Now there's this bottleneck in the what I call the second tier of the conference with all these one-loss teams. Now, of course, we own the tiebreaker over Ole Miss because we beat them. But as we mentioned, Bama has South Carolina left. They got OU left. Last game left on their revenge tour. They got Auburn. That's as far as conference play is concerned. Ole Miss has Florida, Mississippi State, OU, and South Carolina. And Texas A&M, who is the other undefeated team, you couldn't. Number one, side note, you could not have told me at the beginning of the season that Texas A&M was going to be undefeated 7 games into the season. Texas A&M has South Carolina, Missouri, LSU, and Texas. Now, of those 3 teams, the one that I see that we need to really focus all our juju on is Texas A&M because if there's any team that's going to let their heads get into it, I'd say would be Texas A&M, and just because of the whole to borrow a bit from one of the guys we follow, Uncle Lou. They really take the whole military school thing way far, even though they're not a military academy. I said it too, Uncle Lou. I'm with you. They're not a military academy. They haven't been here in a while. I don't think they've been like this since want to say when they beat Bama a few years back.
Yeah,
and they were pretty full of themselves. So that's where they are right now. They're probably either going to LSU's going to step up and the defense is going to shut them down. Missouri, also a one-loss team, who we do not play this season, so that they might get them. South Carolina and Texas, I think they should be able to handle both. But then we've seen Texas get up for games, and this is another rivalry game, so that might be where the loss comes in for Texas A&M, and then we had to do rock paper scissors between them and us to see what we got. So, but then our win would be considered more of a quality win if we're counting quality wins, just because we lost to Bama and they would have lost to Mizzou, and Mizzou is ranked lower than Bama. That's just simple math. No, I don't know what the formulas are and how they figured it out, but we don't really have a lot of wiggle room there for that. And then the last key to success for us, Nate, if you're still watching, is that the defense just stepped up and totally shut Ole Miss down. What did you say he had? Negative 10 yards passing? No, Chambliss had 10 yards passing in the fourth quarter, and they scored 0 points, and they had 0 first downs. That was the key. That was huge. When you're in a game that big, that's the kind of advantage you need your defense to give you. So, you got anything else to put a cap on this before we go into our break?
Yeah, I just want to say something about this offense real quick, but I mean not the defense, but not to get off the defense, but people and fans can say what they want to say about Bobo. I mean, I've said it, and, I've said some things as well, and had some very big critiques, but I've seen some different play calling and him grabbing some stuff in his bag a little bit, and I'm for it, dude. The flea flickers and that kind of stuff, and tell you what, Gunner. I mean, he's got the right name. When he passes the ball, he winds up like a pitcher. And I think the reason he doesn't have that many interceptions is because the receiver has to catch that ball. If the defender tries to pass defend, whatever, it's going to break his hand. But anyway, no, I'm happy to see the kind of the variety that Bobo is seeming to pull out. Like he's seeming to pull out some different stuff that we haven't seen. Georgia run. But and also your boy Woodring was 100%. He had 4 extra points, didn't miss, and 3 field goals. He had a 51, 52-yard field goal.
Yeah, he's definitely doing his thing. I don't want to put anything on him, so I'm just saying he's doing a good job. I'll leave that where that is. Because every time we get to singing somebody's praises, we sang Goggles' praises all through the whole time he was in school, and he wound up missing that one kick that would have tied. I think it was a conference championship. I believe so. And then of course you see what happened to him once he got to the league. So
I know you like the kickers, man. I know you like the kickers, so I give you a shout out.
I love him to death, man. And he helped us get what we needed to get. But I'm not gonna put no bad juju on anybody by giving them any other than a crisp high five and a great job. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, that is our wrap up on the Georgia Ole Miss matchup this past Saturday in Athens, Georgia. As a result, winds up moving up to number 5 in the country. Phew. And then the next in a week, facing off against Florida Gators. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, we're going to take a brief break. Don't go far. That, ladies and gentlemen, one of our fellow shows in the network of shows in which we run, that being we run right alongside the Let's Talk Football family. They're an amazing family of professional football shows, which include such shows as Let's Talk Football, The Roundtable, the Ladies Takeover show, Let's Talk College Football. They do it all, and the Roundtable falls right up under that umbrella. Airs generally on Tuesday nights. Every now and again, we might kick it to a Wednesday just because of work schedules, because adulting. But an awesome show that you definitely want to check out. Again, thank you guys for tuning in to segment number 2 of this week in UGA football. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you tuning in. Mr. Fingaz here, Collin P from the DMV there. We just got done talking about Georgia versus Ole Miss. Where are we? Oh, wow. Did I not even save the rest of the questions? I thought I did. Oh, they moved them down here. As I mentioned, well, you know what we're going to do before we go another further, because I don't want to get to the end of the show and miss this. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I and Collin both hail from the great state of Georgia. I have a huge family up in all throughout the state. I mean, we're all kind of scattered to the four winds now. Most of us that are in my age range scattered to the four winds across different places in the country. But our Georgia roots we are still true to our Georgia roots. I have a young cousin who graduated high school and is now, I was going to do it as a closeout, but so I didn't have time to change the graphic. I want to shout out my baby cousin, Caleb Easterling, who is a defensive back for the Paladins. I want to give him a shout out. His mom and I, cousins, we grew up, spent a lot of time together, family reunions. Every time we come in, we go to town, stay at my grandmother's for a while. We all hang out and have fun. He is a defensive back for the Furman Paladins. They used to be known as the Purple Paladins back in the day, but that is my baby cuz right there. He got an opportunity to play in their game last week, Wofford. Now, did they lose? They did. Looks like they wound up losing, but he did his thing. And I'm going to show you right here. Hang on just a second. We're going to get this together. We're going to get this all the way together. There we go. This is my, let's see here. Where is it? We got to get it there. There we go. Boom! There he is. That's my baby cousin right there, Caleb Easterling. Caleb. All right, there we go. Caleb, I'm going to clip this. I'm sorry that I seem a little disjointed putting this together, but Caleb, I'm going to clip this and I'm going to share this with your mom and your pops, and so they can have a little something to show that you're getting some love. Maybe not on a national grand scale, but just know that the whole Hughes, Whites, Blackwells, we are all rooting for you to do big things down there at Furman. Love you, cuz. Love you.
Absolutely. That was a textbook. That was a textbook tackle, man. That was good form.
Yeah, he also had an opportunity to get a kick return. He took that back for some yards there as well. I mean, he came out of his helmet. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you saw it or not, but he came out of his helmet too. You go back and watch the replay. But definitely came out of his helmet on that. Caleb Easterling, ladies and gentlemen, defensive back for the Furman. I'm gonna call him what they used to call him, the Furman Purple Paladins. Proud of that young man right there. Proud of that young man.
Yes, sir.
Proud of him. So we
good on you, youngin.
So wait a minute, hold on. I can't move on from this segment without giving him one of these. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move on to our next segment. Next up, we got them guys, the Florida Gators. Them guys, the Florida Gators. Now, the Gators have not had the best of success this season. I'm not going to beat them up too badly, but did not have the best of success right now. They are sitting on a 3-4 record. I'm sorry, yeah. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're sitting on a 3-4. I forgot they beat Mississippi State this weekend. I had to look at that like, no, that's not right. I'm like, oh wait, I just saw that the other night. Sitting on a 3-4 record, a season full of promise. Lagway, as you know, got hurt last year. Won every game he started. The Gators legitimately would have had a shot at winning the game last year had he not gotten injured. They wound up losing a couple of games, but they wound up coming up with a winning season. I think they finished 7-5, and everybody was excited for the future. Man, Lagway won every game he started. Imagine what it'd be like if he comes back healthy and he starts all 12 games. Well, here we are, 7 games into the season, and their lone wins are against Mississippi State and Texas, which are both very impressive, and Long Island University. But once they got into conference play, it pretty much was wrapped, except for them. Anyway, hi, any of my friends that are Texas fans. Sorry about that. Anyway, so Georgia takes on Florida. We know what we're facing against Florida. We know what we're facing. We're facing a team that has a great offense. They really do. I mean, if you don't want to believe me, look at how hard and how long they fought against Miami. The score really does not tell the tale of how hard and how long they fought. I believe Miami finally opened it up later in the game and started to pull away, but there was a lot of back and forth.
Mississippi State.
Was it the Mississippi State game?
Yeah. You said Miami.
No, when they played Miami several weeks ago. I said what I said. This week I'm looking at
my bad. Keep it moving.
But they did go back and forth with Mississippi State. The LSU game, the South Florida game, 2 points. The LSU game, a touchdown and a field goal. The only couple of games that they lost that were kind of out of their control just due to score was the Miami game and Texas A&M, but they managed to jump up and beat Texas. So, but that's who we're facing. But we are facing them without a very familiar face. You may know him and love him as our good buddy Uncle Lou. Love to call him. He was the one, I believe, came up with the term Sunbelt Billy. Well, he was fired. There was some rumors swirling that he would be fired regardless of whether they won or lost, and they did win, and he is gone. They did bring on their receivers coach, Billy Gonzalez, as the interim head coach, who came out to say that you play for the patch and the name on the back of your jersey. You play for the patch first, the name on the back of your jersey second. Sounds like a guy who knows how to really motivate a team. Either that or he's a guy who really knows what platitudes to put out there. We'll see in a couple of weeks. This game, I'm not trying to, that was no shade intended. I'm just being honest. I mean, he could really, I mean, I know a lot of coaches that don't win a bunch of games. We've seen them. And
actually, you know what I thought of, like, put yourself in that position, put yourself as an assistant coach, and then you get the head coach gets fired and you're tasked with, oh yeah, you're the interim coach. You know what I mean? Like maybe you've been preparing for all this to, maybe that's your aspiration to be a head coach, but maybe you want to be an assistant coach. I mean, like you're just kind of forced in this or thrown in this situation,
Yeah.
And guilty by association type of shit.
100% guilty by association. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to give this an early call. I think Florida does have, I mean, you're talking a D1 football program in one of the most football talent-rich states in the United States. There's only 2 other states that even run completely close in comparison, the first of which being Texas, the second of which being California, specifically the Southern California area. Yeah. That is where a good bulk of talent comes from. I mean, as far as when you think of states that have football talent, those 3 are always the first ones off the list.
Yeah,
I think that Georgia has the potential to beat Florida and beat Florida by 2 scores. But only 2 scores. Minimum 2 scores. However, the effort that the defense put in this game 2 days ago and the effort the offense put in the game from the gun, if you put those 2 together, that is the only way you're going to get to do it. Like the defense can't sleep on. The defense can't just sleep on Florida just because.
Well, I mean, you remember last year. I mean, aside from Lagway's misfortunes or what, his good games, bad games. But I mean, like you remember when they put him in there against us. I mean, had they had him the whole game, I think they would have beat us.
I do too.
And
I'm being completely honest about that. And that's not me knocking my team.
yeah.
He was giving Georgia the business.
Oh, he was running all over us. Like he was taking off.
He was giving
and throwing the ball.
So you got a score prediction for me on this one? We're not gonna. I mean, I know we're gonna. I know that this is our next game, but we want to kind of stay within our timelines for the evening, and we've got an entire another week to talk about it since we're on a bye this week. So,
well, I can agree. Well, yeah, I agree with. I mean, just you know what? It depends on what kind of game Lagway has. I would say score prediction. 40-14.
This is definitely a game where our defense has to be on point. Whatever magic potion it was they drank before the fourth quarter of the game Saturday, they need to drink it before the first quarter of the game Saturday before the kickoff. Because if you give Lagway an inch, he will definitely take a mile.
That's exactly right.
Like I said, I'm saying 2 scores, but like I said, by me, my 2 scores, I mean a touchdown and a field goal. So I'm going with Georgia 39, Florida 28. I'll throw an extra point in there just to make it look nice. Georgia 39, Florida 28. What did you? No, I'm not gonna write those down because every time we write the scores down, we wind up sitting here looking like we got rocks in our jaws on Monday.
I think this is going to be. Hopefully, this will be a game we get out early because I mean they have to know the significance of the Georgia Florida game. They have to do it, get up for it. And the way they're playing now, coming off a huge win against Ole Miss and having that week to prepare. You like to think that we come out blood guns blazing. No pun intended.
Yeah, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's our prediction for Georgia, Florida. We're going to get a little more in depth on that next week because we have bye week this weekend. So we're going to come in next weekend and talk about all the good stuff we saw, all the crazy stuff we saw. But just to get back to this Billy Napier thing, man. I mean, I thought that they would hold on because of the buyout, but as you see, once they let Franklin go, dominoes have started to fall. I think we will see more coaches that have 20-something million or less. And it's a larger size program. I think they won't have a problem letting their coach go. But Collin threw some interesting facts at me before we came on live. Just as far as the terms of his firing, you all know that most coaches come in with a buyout clause. They say we're going to pay you 10. For those of you that have never heard of this before, if you're paying a coach $10 million a year and he's got a 5-year contract, that's a $50 million contract. If you fire him, not for cause, just for performance, after 2 years, you still owe him $30 million. Now, most smart athletic directors will sit down and say, we're only going to pay you a percentage of what your buyout is. And if they're really smart, what they'll do is they will insert a duty to mitigate clause. The duty to mitigate clause, generally how they apply that is, hey, we're going to pay you this money we're going to pay you this money until we pay you what you are owed. However, if somebody else comes to Collin, and let's say we owe you $21 million and somebody gives you a contract for, let's say $18 million, we're only on the hook now for $3 million. You're going to make your money whole. We're going to make your money all one piece. You'll get your money, but you're not going to get all of it from us. We'll pay the difference between that salary and what we owe you.
Yeah.
Well, Florida's athletic director, Scott Strickland, not a very smart man. Apparently, he didn't know what duty to mitigate meant. And so they did not have him sign one. So Mr. Napier is going to get, $21 million. He's going to get $10.5 million in the next 30 days because they're obligated to pay it. And after that, they're going to pay him out until they pay him the rest of his money. Here's the kicker for Florida, though. You guys didn't know there was a kicker? They're still paying Dan Mullen. And when they hire a new coach, assuming they hire a new coach, say after the end of the season, they will be paying 3 head coaches, 1 to work and 2 to go home and cut their grass. Ain't that nothing?
That's crazy. I mean, that seems to be the running thing, though. I mean, like you look at Auburn. I mean, like I don't know. I mean, just the team that comes to mind. But I mean, I think they're still paying Harsin. I think did we conclude that they're still paying him? I think he's got a year or 2 left on his.
He's got 1 more year left on his contract, if I believe, if my memory serves.
Like I said, man, the lawyers for the coaches must be very smart, or the lawyers for the school or ads. I mean, not that bright. I mean, it's just. I mean, seriously, you go in there and.
All it took was for one coach to say, "Hey, look, y'all owe me my money. You didn't fire me for cause." And then it became a thing, and then it went into the courtroom, and then people that have read far more books than you and I have ever read, all of them involving law, came to a conclusion and said, "Well, he's right." And so they had to shift fire and go, "Okay, crap, now we got to start paying these guys." But the big thing is that everybody thought that guys like Franklin and Napier wouldn't be fired because the buyouts were so big. But like I said, Napier being fired was the first domino being tipped over.
Yeah, I agree.
And now from this point going forward, you will more than likely see. If I had money, I'd put good money that you're not going to see a coach not get fired either every week or every other week from now through the end of the season.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it comes to mind, Coach O. I mean, like 71 million. 71 million.
What are you going to talk about, man? You say about it. I thought he got 17. Jimbo got 75. Jimbo
17.
got 75.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, pay him out. Like, I mean, after he won a national championship and said, "Coach, it ain't really working too well." Was it a year after? I think it was a year after, wasn't it? Or 2 years after?
2 seasons after. I'm going to tell you what, Bo. You go down there, you get them $17 million, but you go on the crowd, they call that coffee.
Go Tigers.
Get you some 18 fake. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Bro, I'd have done the same thing. I've been skipped to Malou, my darling, out that door. I'd be skipping. I'm getting paid. We going sister.
What is wrong with you, bro? Sis, look, for real? Nah, man, it's Golden Corral with the all-you-can-eat chocolate fountain. Anyway, so you had some stats on his rankings as far as how he wound up, where he wound up finishing as far as win losses and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I did have him in here. You gonna run through that? I gave him to you. Hold on.
Yeah, I got him.
Oh, there you go. I got him. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, he was 5-17 against ranked teams. 0-4 0-14. I'm sorry, 0-4 would be far more impressive. 0-14 in away games. Oh God, that would have been a heck of a thing to only never have a play in away game. 0-14 in away games, 3-12, and 3-12 total against his 5 main rivals, that being FSU, Miami, Georgia, LSU, and Tennessee. That's crazy. Like if he could cobble together 8 or 9 wins a season, it might not be so bad. But that on its face is crazy. I mean, what do you say about a guy like that with a record like that? Of course, they want him on. Florida.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that another interesting stat is Napier is the first full-time coach at Florida to finish his tenure with a losing record since Raymond Wolf, 1946 to 1949.
You got to go back.
So, I mean, he's hitting all these accolades for the wrong reason.
Years. You got to go back 80 years. That's insane. And then his record here, it was 22-23. That's crazy. Listen, Coach Napier, I don't mean to dog you. I really don't. Maybe this was not the move for you. Maybe you should have stayed where you were. Again, not dogging you because you know how they say some things ain't for certain people. This was not for you. That's not a knock. You just couldn't make it happen.
Well, being devil's I mean, I haven't followed Florida too much for obvious reasons, but I mean, was it the maybe an environment problem, or was it all on his shoulders? His shoulder by him about why they didn't do well. I mean, I know it ultimately falls on the head coach, but I mean, like, is it I haven't read or haven't looked into it any further, but I mean, any other factors? I know it ultimately falls on the head coach, but I mean, he's the one that got to be fired. But what are the other factors? Because I mean, this sucks, dude. I mean, like these.
Well, here's the thing. After, you have to understand, when you become a head coach, you have kids that live in Florida. Again, this is a state that has not one, not two, but three major football programs.
Yeah.
The other two being University of Miami and University of Central Florida. I see what I did there. The Florida Gators. And then, while I'm joking, you've got UCF, you've got USF, who are also two programs that are prone to be decent to really good at any given point in time. So you got 5 major universities, not to mention A&M and all that stuff, but they're watching you guys because you're the big dogs. And the Gators are top of the heap on brand name recognition. They are top of the flipping heap.
Yeah. And it's been a long time since they've been in this type of category.
Right. I mean, it was just not too far into the turn of the 20th century that, there was a group of guys there. Maybe they had some bad habits in their off time, but they were really, really good. One of them actually left there and wound up going to win a national championship someplace else. And now he has his own podcast wearing these giant hanker for a hunk of cheese. Remember that cartoon, Hanker for a Hunk of Cheese? He got these giant hats with his dreads hanging out. The Heisman Trophy winner. That is Cam Newton had his jersey retired a couple of weeks ago. But it's hard for me to put it's almost not fun anymore.
No.
To watch that game.
No.
Last year was the first time in a little bit it was fun to watch. But we're wishing them all the success in the world. I will say that. I think at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another brief break. We'll come back with our last segment, and then we're going to shut it down. Again, thank you if you are just tuning in for watching This Week in UGA Football. We will be right back. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much again. You are tuned in to This Week in UGA Football with Mr. Fingaz, or as it says on here, the OKC Dog, and Collin P. from the DMV. We have talked about Georgia's win over Ole Miss. We've talked about facing Florida in the cocktail party this coming week and the woes they are suffering. We will talk more about that in depth in our next episode. And since we have a bye this week, but we are going to keep this thing moving along, and let's see. So we're going to get into it. As you know, the SEC Top 25 came out yesterday. There were some surprises, but there weren't very many. I did talk at some length on a short on this channel about how is it that Texas is still ranked number 22, and yes, that's the hill I will start this slow, agonizing death on. Why is Texas still ranked number 22? Why is Texas still ranked in the top 25? That is a question that I sincerely would like an answer to. And the reason behind my logic, now, before any of you jump in the comments and say, you know why they're ranked number 22. Yes, I do. And it doesn't make any sense, because if it was anybody else, not named who it was, and I'm not trying to knock, but if it was anybody else not named who they are, you know exactly where they would be. Unranked. Okay? Because here is their win record. The loss to Ohio State was understandable. Okay. The loss to Florida, I got nothing. Florida is not Florida is not Florida. It's like having a loved one who isn't quite who they used to be. Florida's not Florida. But here's who they beat. They beat up the Studley Spartans of Sandhand. Remix. Wait a minute. Where is it? Remix. They beat San Jose State. They beat UTEP. And they beat Sam Houston. And they beat Oklahoma. And they beat Kentucky. Now, I will give them to Oklahoma, and I'll tell you why. Oklahoma is their only quality win out of those 5 games. It's a rivalry game. They got up for it in the right fashion. The right people in the right positions were hyped enough to help make that happen. Manning managed the game very well. But any other team, not named Georgia, Bama, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, oh my God, Notre Dame is a thorn on my side. That's another one. How the heck did you manage to stay in the top 25 with 2 losses?
2 losses, yeah.
Yeah, they and they have been very respectable. They've been very quiet. They've ground their way to a 5-2 record, but there's still 5 games left, and there's still 5 games left in the season. I don't know who they're playing. Chances are pretty good it's going to be a bunch of teams that is going to guarantee that they're going to beat. I mean,
so hey, I got a question for you. You're talking about Texas. So, was Florida? Florida wasn't ranked at the time that they beat them, right?
No.
Florida out of the top 20. Okay, so 2 out of those teams you named, 2 of those. Kentucky ranked? No. All right, so one of those teams was ranked.
Kentucky was ranked negative 38 on the back end because when they get down to 136, they start counting backwards.
that was negative 38 minutes.
Sorry to my Kentucky fan friends.
But no, I mean, so they're still in the top 25 after beating 1 ranked opponent, and the rest of them were all unranked.
Yes.
And how many losses did they? Yeah, no, I agree with you.
That's the part I'm trying to tell you. They beat 1. They lost to the number 1 team in the country. And they beat the number 6 team, the number 6 at the time team in the country. And here's who they got left: Mississippi State, which might be a loss; Vanderbilt, which more than likely is going to be a loss; Georgia, which more than likely is going to be a loss; Arkansas, who they're going to struggle with. They struggled with Kentucky. Come on, man. Stop it, Skip.
Stop it. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's hard not to say that. It's hard to say it and hard not to say it. I mean, was that glaring? I mean, that's kind of like me, like us, talking about dropping 7 spots. You know what I mean? I mean, without being a fan, it's going to come off as being like, just nitpicking and just sour grapes. But, it's hard not to say there's a bias. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, it don't make sense.
I mean, for some reason, they keep there's enough people on that committee that keep hoping that he's going to have the breakout game, and then they're going to start. Then watch. Here's how this thing works. Here's how the hype machine works. They ranked them way up high. Not really. Now, in fairness, they probably should have potentially been ranked top 10 because they were a good team. The only regular season, I can't remember what their regular season losses were, but they lost to us, and then they lost to us again in the conference championship game. So they were a good team, but see, what the voters fail to realize is Arch was not the quarterback of the team the year that they made those accomplishments. That was Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, and they were number 1 last year, right? They started out the season preseason number 1.
They started out this season preseason.
No,
number 2 was it?
Yeah, number 2. Ohio State was number. No, right. Because Ohio State was not, because that was another reason. They were defending champion. Ohio State was, and they weren't number 1.
So let me get this right: a team that did not win its conference and did not win the national championship got ranked ahead of the reigning national champion in the preseason rankings. And despite a very tenuous, that's the big dictionary, 3-syllable dictionary word right there, dictionary.com. A very, very tenuous schedule. I mean, this is what a very tenuous schedule on the front end. The back end is their schedule is backloaded as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a very tenuous front end to their season. Manages to lose to an unranked team and not fall out of the national rankings.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
I'll stop
That's
trying.
shout out to our guy Kangaroo Black. Come on, man. Make it make sense.
Make it
Anyway,
make.
keep it going. That's
It makes
my
my
best
brain hurt.
KB. That's my best KB impersonation. Shout out to that guy KB. Anyway, we keep this thing going on along here. The top 25. Nate, to answer your question real quick before we move forward, I'm gonna toss this to you, Collin.
How would you grade your running game so far? Improving, nowhere near where it needs to be. I mean, we've got young running backs. I mean, we don't use Frazier enough, in my opinion. I mean, we got Bowers. I mean, like we have the luxury of having multiple running backs by committee, but uh, we don't use it. I mean, honestly, grade. I mean, I would give it a B after this last game.
That's up from a B minus.
Yeah.
It's up from a B minus. They had a couple of games where they really looked 100% sharp and they were unstoppable, and then you had some where they just like, what are they doing? So I'd give them a solid right now where they are a B minus. They can continue to excel throughout the course of the rest of the season and maybe into the conference championship. Then I might be willing to give them a solid A minus grade on the
And a lot of that's indicative on the offensive line too.
Yeah, that young offensive line who still has managed to open up some semi-sized holes against a ranked Ole Miss, so I'm not mad at that.
No, they played very well against Ole Miss. I was impressed.
So so here's our top 25. Texas A&M at 3, Bama at 4, the Dogs at 5. That's pretty fair. The Rebs are at 8. Mississippi, Ole Miss is at 8. Vandy's at 10. Welcome to the rare air, Vanderbilt. Not that they haven't been here before. It's just been a very long time since they've been this high up in the rankings. OU at number 13, Missouri at number 16, Tennessee at 17, LSU at 20, and the Longhorns at 22. I've already spoken my piece on the Longhorns. Honestly, I think that's just about right. If I had to take a stab, I'd say that's just about right.
Yeah,
although I would not have the horn, I wouldn't have the horns at all in the top 25. Not a knock, just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with what you're saying. I mean, like there's questions with Texas, but at the same point, I mean, I'm more in agreement with what it is now than it was, maybe last week before that.
Right.
But I'm saying like Vanderbilt. I mean, what's crazy is Vanderbilt shot up 7 spots after that win.
Hey, Vanderbilt, but they earned it though.
I'm not knocking. I'm saying I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Rah.
Yeah, all the accolades. I am a firm believer. Okay, I said this in another short video. Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, when they're on our schedule, that's 2 guaranteed wins. 5 years ago. Right now, they are looking very impressive. And I'm proud of what's going on in Vanderbilt. I'm proud of what's going on at Georgia Tech. Even though, to a degree, Georgia Tech is definitely a rival. That's always uninformed. Georgia Tech is always our last game of the year. That's in-state rivalry week. Hey, I actually managed to say it without having to do a remix. And Vanderbilt, we were at the point where we were playing about every third year, and when we saw them show up on the calendar, it's like, great. We got an in-conference win on top. We got an in-conference win and 4 out-of-conference games at the beginning of the season. We off to a great 5-5 start. You know what I mean? And hadn't played a single game.
We used to be able to pick that triple option apart, bro.
Yeah. Of all these teams, this sounds about right. I am looking at them. I'm thinking if nothing changes and everything goes the way it's supposed to go, I'm projecting the SEC champion along with another. How many can we get in all together?
Do what?
How many spots does the SEC have?
How many spots?
Because there's some kind of they did this whole contractual mumbo jumbo with the SEC. And,
I got to go back and look at it. I mean, I know they changed some stuff, and I can't remember. I mean, I know the SEC championship is not a bigger factor than that it was.
Yeah, I looking at this list, I can easily see the top 5 all going to the playoffs. If everything shakes out like it's supposed to, I could see all 5 of these teams going to the playoffs. And that's not even, I don't even say that jokingly.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree too. Because I mean, even with if say the undefeated teams at the top, A&M, Indiana, and Ohio State, even if they have one loss, you know, I
Yeah,
mean, that provided we don't have, the teams below them don't have another one.
yeah. I mean, I know the other five are at the bottom of the list, like Birdman on the Breakfast Club.
All right, we finished or we're done?
Yeah, right.
Put some respect on my name.
There you go.
But
Let me look at you in the eye. Sorry.
all three of y'all. So that I definitely think it's safe to say that this is a good crop. 62% of the entirety of the conference is in the AP top 25. Now somebody may wind up falling out or going lower because of the losses we get because we're in conference play, but where we are right now, this is a very good look for the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah.
All right, man. Having said that, real quick, our last segment, path to the playoffs. Outside of win out the conference, what else? Outside of winning out, or rather, we know the answer to that is win out and hope that Texas A&M or Bama lose. But there's a very realistic possibility that might be a greater task than we thought. So, and then some folks are going to jump on here and say, just win. This isn't the 76 Raiders with Al Davis before he started to look like the shrunken head from Beetlejuice. This is like a real question. What does Georgia need to do to get into the playoffs?
Well, like you said, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but if the season ended today, so we know that A&M and Alabama would be playing for the SEC championship. But Alabama has the one has a tiebreaker on us. So I mean, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I said off air that I was listening to some commentator, but it said the path may be easiest for us if we don't play for the SEC championship. And,
I agree with that wholeheartedly because we went last year and then we won and then we wound up having a bye and we see what happened. I think these guys play best when they just let's just do it. No buys, no nothing. Let's just play where we're supposed to play.
Yeah, and then like I said,
and lost in the SEC championship, and it bit us in the behind. So,
yeah, 100%. And that's about it, man. That's it for us this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We covered a lot of ground. There'll be more for us to talk about. Collin and I will be working on some shorts to put on the channel.
Yes, sir. I will definitely do it. Give me one.
Yeah, so we'll be putting, in the meantime, between now and Saturday, there'll be plenty of shorts up here for you to check out. Also, car commentary, that's coming on Saturday morning, either on the way to the gym, on the way back from the gym, sitting in front of the gym before I go in. We do sincerely appreciate you guys tuning in to us this evening because you didn't have to, but you did. So, Collin, what you got going on this weekend? What are your plans for us having no game this weekend?
I've got no plans. I've got to work on Sunday, but I've got Friday and Saturday off. So it is payday Friday. So I don't know. Maybe I may venture out a little bit, but not. You know how it is. I'll be home early.
I feel you, my guy. I feel you there. Me, I don't know. I may have to work this Friday. I'm still trying to check on that. I won't turn down the money at this point because it seems like adulting is just becoming more of an adult task than even I, as someone who has been an adult for catching up on almost 40 years now, is able to want to do. So we'll see. Other than that, I got nothing else scheduled, man. So I guess if all hearts and minds are clear, what am I looking for? Yeah, if all hearts and minds are clear. Oh wait, I didn't play this at all this entire show.
who I am? I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
But I know, right? If we feel you on that link, Osiris, down there in Tropic Thunder. Well, if all hearts and minds are clear, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Tell your friends. There'll be plenty of for those of you that have the short attention span, we will be chopping this up. There'll be shorts popping up all over YouTube. Don't worry, you'll catch them. So we're going to get out of here. You guys be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will catch you next time. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.